Alright. Shalom, shalom, to all the brothers. Shalom, Yawashimala, Bashim Yawashai, to all the sisters. Alright, I.S.U.P.K. and Tobago, holding on, peace and officer Tazo, holding on for peace and Captain Galawan, right? So, like, if the late start, I will start in 2 minutes, right? Just allow me to share this thing here, right? All from in the meantime, Baba Gusha Warrior, Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16, right? Let me know you have it, right, Baba Gusha?
Yeah.
Right, straight. Right, so today we're gonna just touch on a little bit of brotherhood and what brotherhood kind of is, you know what I mean? And the difference between what the oppressors do, you know what I mean, and the mindset of the oppressor, as opposed to the mindset the Lord gave to the black man that have, like, black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right? And don't ever mistake when you say black man, we only mean so-called Negroes or so-called dark-skinned people, right? Because Hispanics and Native Indians as black people too. Right? We face the same type of situation, the same type of condition, the same type of struggle. You know what I mean? We are the same type of style, same type of flair, you know what I mean? All the women them good looking, you know what I mean? We have a decent way about thinking, we ain't rash, you know, usually we really rash as a people, you know, we more kind, more forgiving and more loving and all them different things, right? We also could get very violent for all the right reasons, you know what I mean? So the Lord does give you the ability to do everything extra, right? Again, you say that He make me the greatest nation on the face of the planet, which means the greatest race, right? The youngest race, but the greatest on the planet, right? And since then, you know what I mean? Everybody telling me that the past is not important now, right? The past is important, history is important, in school, you know, especially, well, down in the Caribbean here especially, right? You know, teach you what we was, you understand, before slavery, you can go through that. We could have talked about that in the shop, right? We can't put up talk about the national, right? We talk about it a lot, right? But basically, you know what I mean? All that is left for you to lean on for information is that you're a slave, right? Or you know, use a Trinidadian and these places are 500 years old, you know. We history start from 500 years old. We come like we start in the middle of it. So you open up the book in the middle and you say, well, right, you start in here, but here the Lord say no. Right? You see what I.S.U.P.K in the beginning and what I established with Moses, Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1, and all they coming out of Egypt, I killed people falling and all that. Those ways is what I always wanted for it to operate with me. That's exactly the template, you understand, the solution, the constitution, the everything, right? It's based upon that, right? The laws that the Lord put inside the Bible, inside our Bible, all tied towards looking out for each other. You know what I mean? Because it is our saying that no man built on an island and all that, but you don't really understand the mechanism in it. If you don't understand the reasoning for the law, you understand the reason why brotherhood, you understand, or charity, a love for each other, you understand, extremely important. But people is mistake love with affection. You understand? Love is not that. Love is key core principles that just protect and preserve each other. Right? Lord, the Lord say, well, if you love me, you do these things, and because I know you wouldn't have caused no harm, you wouldn't disrespect me one, you wouldn't cause no harm to each other. And here going. Directly, when you violate the Lord, you understand, you disrespect exactly what He put on there, you will disrespect each other. You understand? You will cause harm to a brother and a sister, you will. And if no maybe in some way, shape, and form, you will do. All right, so let me get to Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 16. So what?
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16.
Right.
Thus say the Most High, stand you in the way and seek and ask for the old path, which is good, the good way, and walk therein.
Right. He's saying pause, right? He's saying, yeah, what you do? I want you to take a pause then. Stand here, you understand? In the path. So you're looking at the path now, you're looking at different ways to walk, you understand? Different roads to travel in. So a road to travel, a man might say is Muslim. A man might travel and say, well, they're going, we is Rasta, you understand? A man might say, well, hey, we is Pentecostal, and we is Catholic and all that. So you know the Lord saying then, okay, stand in the way, right? And look and see which pathway, you understand, is the right way to walk. Which is the way that I set for you then. Or if you don't want to follow my way, at least evaluate, you understand, them other ways in them and see, according to what it is I set down, if you understand, this is our way that will actually preserve your life. This is preserve life, you understand? This is cause us they're on good. This is cause, you understand, good communication and good relationship between husband and wife, child, auntie, mother, father, you understand? Grandfather, cousin, all that. That's what you want to do. You have to evaluate it then. Stand in the way and look for the whole part, because I sure you understand exactly what I put on. The Lord saying, yeah, one, but I put on, I know I sure that this does work. So you're going to the scriptures as well say, oh, one. This book here, this report, you understand, that he gives us, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, the Bible, right? You say, oh God, there's nothing that would meet that much. You understand? Nothing will come up against it and be able to stand against it, right? So you say exactly what I know I put down here, the old ways, the old parts, what is both for your forefathers and them. Evaluate that, what Adam and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all of them, Solomon, all of them used to utilize, right? Which is the scriptures. Look in the old, stand in the old path, right? And then see which is the good way. So you're looking at all these different ways to travel, these roads they want to walk on. You follow what you think is acceptable, because they might be like it, they might be like, they could do this so you could get away with this. So whatever it is, whatever loophole or whatever easier situation, or the grass, as they say, the grass is look green on the other side. Look and see, understand, if really and truly if this is the pathway that will really cause a long-term success. Or the same thing that you say that you want to live by, you follow, look and see 100 years down the road, what would be the outcome of it? You understand? Look 50 years down the road, 20 years down the road. If I walk this pathway, you understand, evaluate it and see. And in fact, don't go on a basic level, because you're looking at your car, your life is not over. You're not a cat, or a cat so-called a nine life. You don't have 9 life, you understand? You have a life to live. You follow and you have things that must be done here. Some people don't pray to die, you understand? But we in the UPK, we don't pray to die, but we're more concerned about living. We're more concerned about the living conditions of people, and really actually to be living, you must be growing, you must be doing, you understand? Exactly what is caused, you understand? What is reproduced life. You think that them that reproduce, you understand, better outcomes. Things that they could grow from, you understand? The things that a society could actually be protected, and doing that, you know, you have the pathway to death, right? So do that, evaluate it and see. We don't Bible question, verse 17.
Verse 17. Also I set watchman over you,
Right.
saying, hearken to the song of the trumpet.
Right.
But they said, you will not hearken.
Right. So the Lord said also, in that time I also set, they call it watchmen over you, right? Which is priests. So I send a man, you know what I mean? Commander General GEN.YAHANNA. I send generals, you know, send General Maimon, General Mayak, you know, send General Hazayan, going down here, General Shalama, you know what I mean? I send watchmen for you like today, but long time it had Moses, I send Elijah, I send all of them, right? So here go, and I send watchmen for you to watch to make sure exactly what it is I say, you understand, or they go implement this in other society so that you wouldn't cause harm and danger to yourself. You follow, you wouldn't have pedophilia, you wouldn't have drug addiction, you wouldn't have gang violence, you understand, you wouldn't have police killing you, you wouldn't have people devaluing you as a human being, calling a cockroach and all that, so that they could, you understand, they can make you slave day and night, and you're on your foot, you understand, you can't pay your bills, you're prostituting yourself, you're prostituting your daughter, you're prostituting your sons, you understand, all kind of different ways just to manage, just to breathe, just to see another day. I've set prophets on them in front of you as a guard, so that these things wouldn't, what you're facing today, you wouldn't be facing, you know what I mean, at that time, no in years to come, right? But you say, which is so-called black people, right? We say that we wouldn't listen. how we do that? We just didn't follow. We didn't say outrightly, you know. Some people maybe say outrightly, right? But we say, you go on, tell with that. We're going to do what we want, right? And then you didn't know, you understand that it would have meet back up with you, because you don't understand the law of reaping and sowing. Anything, you don't have to be a farmer to reap and sow, but anything you reap, you will sow. You understand? That's just how it is. That's a principle. Whatever you put, some people believe in the universe, some people believe in this, some people believe in that. But understand something. What you sow, you just definitely reap. You understand? So that is what you want to look at. If I want to reap a good reward, I have to sow on a good road. Right? Read on Bible shower.
Verse 18.
Go ahead.
Therefore, hear ye nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them.
Right? So the Lord saying, well, here people, here children of Israel, understand? And know ye congregation, know ye all of your land, what is among your people. What is among, you understand, the leaders of your people, who influencing people to do, but to not do what the Lord said to do. Right? Read on.
Verse 19. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my word, nor to my law, but rejected it.
Right, so the Lord bearing witness that is here, here, oh earth. He ain't talking to the ground of many cases, you know what I mean? Not necessarily. Right? Or the trees and all that, he's talking to the people, right? So here, oh earth, right? So the whole earth will hear this eventually, right? And which they hear right now. Because then everybody understand, or not really understand, but they know about our records, and they're using it in their constitution, they're using it in the judicial system, they're using it in the parliaments, they're using it in the, we call it in the Senate. You understand? They're using it in the right wing and the left wing, which is the Democrats and who's the next one? Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans and them is who believe abortion wrong. That's like the Bible says abortion wrong. They don't believe in gay marriage. You understand what the Bible says abomination as well, which is wrong, right? Certain things they use, and right, the wisdom that come from the big God, that is bring destruction. If you allow gay marriage to happen, you understand, it will spread. Every time you go and take an AIDS test, you understand, there's ask you in 20, they'll ask you the same question 20 different times. If you have homosexual sex, because they know that is bring HIV. You understand? That the medical society accept, you understand, the science that the Lord put down. If you do this, you understand, man will cause, you understand, the Lord will bring a plague to you, which is HIV, AIDS, you understand? Or some other disease will come to you. Because you have that doorway open, you understand, for evil to pass through. I just saw it is. That's like the law of sowing and reaping. You might not understand fully what it is, but understand some. What the Lord says to do, respect it. Right? We don't Bible.
Verse 20. To what purpose cometh there to me incense from Sheba, and the sweet cane from a far country?
Right, so back to verse 19 as well. The Lord says, bring evil upon their own thoughts, because here what they're thinking. I go bust a smart shot now. I go bring, in verse 20, I go bring, you understand, incense from Sheba, and the sweet cane from a far country. So I go offer, you understand, physical things, and then I feel the Lord have a pajamas on. Right, so I will bring these things to them and make it look like I doing service to the Lord, and make it look before people that this is what it is are doing, and that time, you understand, your mind corrupt. You understand, your mind not there, because exactly what it is do is exactly what in your mind. No way thinking, you know what I mean? And that is what you have to look at. What others do, you understand, and evaluate that. If somebody fortunate enough, like a watchman, you understand, to come and bring you up to speed and chastise you, understand, because sometimes you're walking around careless. Right? You're very fortunate, and there's the Lord looking out for you. Right? But a lot of people walking around the place with their own, but not their own ideologies, but what the so-called oppressor or the Caucasian race, and as put in their minds, is the colonial master. What he put in their minds and push to the media, that is what they have in their brain, and that is what they do them things in it. They follow those seek after the old parts. It is actually they're very ingrained. The society is very ingrained, but very, understand, it's very inside of them to do, you understand, madness, or to seek some other part, not the old part, but every new so-called, you understand, design that the oppressor have up, that's what they're in, you understand? So they want to be LGBTQ, you understand? They want to be, in the 70s, they want to be, what do you call it? Them smokers and them who smoking marijuana. And hippies, they want to be hippies, you understand? They want to do everything that seems cool, you understand? That will take you away from responsibility. But really and truly, you're so into yourself that because you're getting cancer from there, you follow some people get AIDS because some people get high and they get raped. About that too. Plenty people mention that, you understand? And then, or they get high and they commit adultery which is the next doorway, you understand, for AIDS and gonorrhea and syphilis and all that to come against it, because the Lord don't lay down certain things already. If you're busting my gate, you're busting my house, which is breaking my law, you understand, you'll get shot. You'll get a disease in your backside. You understand? That is exactly what it is, right? You don't do that, you know what I mean? Then you're on the path with the life. Anytime you break anything I say to do, you're on the path with the death, right? So all them different things and then that color up, you know what I mean? They fancy it up and they give it in a nice gift box and wrap it up and all that and package it and push it through the media, push it through the movies, push it through the music and all that. Even with a black face, you understand? With them black pictures and all of that, it's still, you understand, the path with the death, because it's not exactly it's not the old path. If it's not exactly the old part, it's not the old part. You understand? To understand something so-called black, Hispanic, Native, Indian man and woman, right? The old part is what is work, you understand? And that is where you need to say what the Lord said. You understand? Stand in the way and ask for the old part. You know, understand the old part, look for the men them who walking on the old path. Which is the scriptures, you understand? And the wisdom of the scriptures, which is the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. Nobody else is walking the straight and narrow old path. You follow the bumpy road with fire on one side and water on the next side. You understand? You can get drowned, you can get burned. If you walk outside of that, that is the other way. That's the new part of it. But the old part, you understand, is rough, because it's designed to keep you in a certain mindset that it's not an easy road. You keep your conscience, just like if you're driving and you're sleepy, you understand, you're jumping on a bumpy road, there's no way in hell you could drive down what do you call it, a real bumpy road, and you could fall asleep on a bumpy road. Hell no. You're driving on a bumpy road, you understand, you'll keep up. And you'll be frustrated and all kind of different things, but hey, you're keeping up. You can't afford, you understand, to drive fast and careless. Now they could afford to go to the right side or the left side because you will crash real bad. But the bumpy road, you understand, keep in touch with reality. That's why some people say, you understand, that only pain does make you understand the value of things, which you understand shouldn't be, but sometimes that is just because it has to take depending on the individual and how willing they is, you understand, to go back to the old path, so they don't have to face the pain, they have to face the judgment or the repercussions, you understand, of not walking the correct pathway, or not walking and following the old pathway, because the Lord done established that from the beginning. This is what is work for society. If you walk outside of that, but then you choose death. It's not a middle. There's no such thing as a gray area. There's no such thing, you understand, as a middle pathway. It's either good or evil. Simple as that. Right? Of course, there was spirit behind it in terms of exactly what to do and what is trump, you understand, like a law, like the Sabbath, you understand? If somebody had to go and get medication or whatever the case is, or whatever you have to do, you understand, on the Sabbath, to make sure that person take care of, that is what Brotherhood, which is love. Your love does go beyond, you understand, we call it rules that is meant to enforce the still, make sure that you stay in a particular line to make sure you get rest. Because 6 days you're working, 7 days you should take a rest. You understand? The Sabbath is made for you to do what you want, not the Sabbath, not, you understand, the Lord said, this day you have to do that. No. I gave you an opportunity to do that, right? So, again, preachers don't understand the Brotherhood, they don't understand the old pathways, they don't understand why the Lord set it up in the first place. That is what you need to understand. So, what black, Hispanic, and Native, Indian man, woman, and child. That is the key to life. You understand, Brotherhood, which is your culture. You understand, like your roots and culture. All right? You done, Babu Kasha? Verse 21.
Verse 21. Therefore, thus say the Most High, behold, I will lay stumbling blocks before this people, and the fathers and the sons together shall fall upon them. The neighbors and his friends shall perish.
We'll let them pause right there, Babu Kasha, right? That's what the Lord said here, God. It's simple enough. You don't have to perish. But if you don't, you understand, walk upon the old pathway, right? And they seek to be a gay, and they seek to be a this, they seek to do whatever it is you want to do, even if you understand you don't die, anything that you open the pathway, the doorway for, that's like the thief just now will say, oh, here going, I should be allowed to thief. The murderer will say, I should be allowed to murder, because if you could be gay, and if you could like children, and if you could sex with animals, you understand, I should be allowed to do this too. When you talk about morals, you understand, morals have either, you understand, one side or no morals. Either you have morals or you have no morals, right? Which is this. You follow, because the guideline for morals is this. This is what we just do. You understand? This is what we don't do. Again, the spirit behind everything, right? Because the moral, good morals say, well, I should help somebody. You understand? But the Lord don't tell you help not a sinner. If somebody trying to dig out your eye, as we just say, right, or trying to use you, right? Why helping you for? Because I don't know, you know, that causing destruction or that giving you bad habit too. I creating a opportunity for you to do me more harm or to do somebody else harm because you're thinking that's good to do, right? So the Lord try to put certain things in place to stop them things, right? So Again, you just have to understand the whole part and the reason behind it and what it is do in particular situations so you can walk it and you won't be walking around. That's why you sit to ask for the whole part, not to go and think or to go and look for the whole part. You sit to ask for the whole part. The Lord does know exactly why I inspire me to write this for a particular reason. But you won't get beside yourself because we just think and we know it all. You understand? And we could go on, let's jump up and figure out something. No. I know how this does work. The Lord done set something in a particular way. Everything in the scriptures, everything in the old pathway, in the old records, in the scriptures that are relevant today, that is work. You understand? Because it means old part doesn't mean it ain't, you understand, applicable to the new. It just means this is the foundation for how things is to go forever. Right? So that's what you want to understand. Right? Um, right? So the Lord said again, I will lay stumbling blocks before you, which is you choose this way. I will not stop a rapist from raping. You understand? I would not stop a policeman from killing you. You understand? If I put a block in front of them, you understand, I save you. Or I put leaders in place so that they cannot gun you down this side that or it will cause a war. You understand? So black people, Hispanic and Native Indian people, if we was together and applying what the Lord saying, one would have been in rulership and nobody would have think to do that. Because anytime they look to touch one of we, just like in where's the place again where they kill the general? The second in command, there was a top general in the Middle East. I think in Iran. Within the last 5 years.
That was in it started with the country starting with
It's Iran, yeah. But I can't remember exactly what the man name is.
Yeah.
The general, you understand? You touch one of them or a citizen that go into somebody's country. If you mistreat that citizen, that is an act of war against a nation, but you don't understand that so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian man or woman. You don't understand. But we as a people, you understand, have a lot of understanding to do when it comes to love, when it comes to our actual culture. Follow, we responsible for people understanding what that is on the face of the planet. You follow? And love would understand that you don't violate us, the rulers of the planet. You understand? We're supposed to be ruling the planet. You don't violate us. You know what I mean? Right now, the people who are in charge of love and implementing structure and law and order and what it is do and what is this norms of society and what is abnormal. You follow? We're not in the place that we should be in right now because we walk away from it. So that is the stumbling blocks. You understand that we can't drug addiction and all them things in them, that is the stumbling blocks. So I will allow, in a sense, Abda and whoever it is, I don't know if them is whoever the case is, or whoever it is, but there are plenty of rumors going around also the society says. So if it's the Syrians bringing anything, because they have the money to do so, if it's the East Indians bringing anything, because they have the money to do so, and they have the power and the connections to do so, so they have to come in some way, right? So we ain't gonna call a particular family name, but according to the hearsay or whatever the case is, and you could whoever, go and charge everybody. The player coming around me with that shiftiness, you understand? Because that's easy to fight in court. But anyway, right, with being going down that pathway, why you want to stop selling drugs so that the Lord will spare their family? So if you want to take it that route, you understand? Well, then you face God now because we inside of here obeying God that's all. You're going to face God. Anyway, going back to the class, right? So them who have the Chinese have the connection to do so. You know why? Because when they have the powers to do so and they have the money to do so, you know what it is do? It's going to take 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds Venezuelan girls and go and put them in battles. They're going to have them as whores. A Chinese general, that one was a general, you know, that's the man catching Trinidad. You come from all the way to the other side of the world, they come across here as a general. That is the kind of men that they have in the armies, that is the kind of men you raise with no morals. So-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, let's understand who you are the mercy of. These people don't have connections and this and that the other. They're supposed to be distinguished men in their realm. They can get how much women they want because they are general. In the Chinese, and understand the largest military on the planet, not the baddest military, but the largest military on the planet. And a general, a very high ranking man. You know, it's out of 1 billion people. You understand? Out of 1 billion people, that man make it to be a general in the Chinese army. And this you come in to do? And the next 30 days? You come in to have sex and with children and have them as prostitutes? And these people ruling over me? Nah, man. We better run back to the old part as soon as possible. Understand what you're facing. If you can really grasp that and understand a Chinese general out of 1 billion people, that man make it to be a top man in the Chinese government and retire wherever. And this we coming on the other side of the world to do. And let us say like is well, he might be have that, he might be have a big collection, he might be have a whole country full of prostitutes, and he might be just catching each other. I don't see that. I don't see that. You understand? We're adding up. It has to be, you understand, some Arab maybe a government minister They might be catching that or something. Maybe he might be love something Trinidad and no police at all. Or one police maybe have one good police in Trinidad. So they would not make him out. You know, they probably didn't bribe him. You're going. So he's so thirsty behind churn. You know, that's sex churn. This little molester, this little child molester, right? And you prostitute churn, and you understand the amount of danger you're in. And the thing is, they kidnapping your children of them. These are people, you know, and people who face an hardship, you running from war, from your war-torn country to come and have refuge in a place. Right? And this is what they're doing. They're swindling you or they're shipping you off easy. And in the public, you going in a main road, some you ain't going behind in Guyana, some in the deep dark jungle and a tower opposition. You go into a way accessible to people to see advertising. This is how much people might be had sex with each other them before they catch them. And how much thing they might be getting so much to be so free and to be open. Nobody doing a crime on the face of the planet and doing it so open, you know what I mean, that they wouldn't think they would get catch to that level. Nobody is doing that. I don't care who he is. You know, you have to be clinically insane to do crime like that and to be so free and not caring about the repercussions to be doing something like that. And you open to where people could see you coming in, you understand, whatever time of the day. Don't matter. Whatever time you running a prostitution with underage children, you're a rapist, understand? Especially Venezuelan, the Lord chosen children, which you have no respect for. You never idea. They're not supposed to touch the apple of God eye. You know God is? You go to the same coronavirus, you go to the same hail and fire all them different and destroy places with tsunami and all that. He control all that. Everybody really had an idea who God is. That is what going on. This whole world don't understand who God is. They really have a clue, a real good clue. And so we have plenty catching up to do. But anyway, moving on. Understand who you are the mercy at. So that mindset, you understand, you develop here, so-called black man, Hispanic, Native, Indian man, woman, and all that you learn from the heathens. Because when you're in Egypt, Egyptians was having sex with animals and having sex with children and having sex with their own mother and all these different ways, and because there's no law saying you can't do it. And the thing is, what kind of mind you have to have? So before Moses, Adam and Abraham wasn't doing that. You don't give structure to them and know they can't be based. They can't just pick up something from the ground and eat it. You can't eat a snake, you can't eat a snail, you can't eat lobster. All these things are supposed to be delicacies and these things are clean. I'm like, who the hell is walking in a no stink the juice from a garbage truck, the smell? Who the hell walking up to a garbage truck and then putting their hand inside the garbage and eating? That is a lobster. You don't understand that lobster, there's a crab, there's a shrimp. Now you doing, you better put your hand inside the whole garbage truck after you squeeze out all the nasty juice together with the worms and go and put it in your mouth. That's what you're doing right now, and that's what the professor's selling you, and it's we call it Red Lobster, and all different places they're advertising as something supposed to be so exuberant and extravagant. And you don't understand is worms you put in your mouth, as you eating that. You're eating a pile down. You do something opening as a feces, but you go in and open we call it oil frying crab, and all kind of different thing and all. You know what I mean? You go in and put it aside as a split cover, dipping your hand in some pieces and putting it in your mouth. That's exactly what you do. Not understanding the Lord. So that's how far we fall from. And that's what the oppressor used to do in slavery. You understand? 400 years on them, that's what we conditioned to do. Eat garbage, eat filth. Because that time he didn't break it down to eat pig and all of that, and you thinking you get through to ham for the Christmas. You ain't supposed to celebrate Christmas, and then again, the doorway from Christmas coming to, you understand? That's how it has happened. So spiritually, you're getting poison, and then physically poisoning your body, because now what coming with the spiritual side is physical damage. You're going to create to your own body. So yeah, either you're going to smoke, either you're going to eat crab, some kind of nastiness, and you thinking that you get through. You're going to have sex, you understand, and they call it, they're gonna have them swingers and you're gonna, we call it orgies and all them different things, and them, and you pass we call it the body fluid around, and you don't understand that, hey, passing us the body fluid around. When you're unclean, it's supposed to be, you understand, you're supposed to be unclean for the day, and certain things you're unclean for 7 days, like a woman, she cycles, she's unclean for 7 days. But that same body fluid you passing around the place, that woman didn't even get a chance, you know what I mean, to really be away from people to see what will be the end result. You know what I mean? At any given time. And you're passing body fluids around, understanding what you're creating. You're getting a cesspool. That is why it is developing into different strands. Just like coronavirus. When it passes around to other people, creating different strands, again worse. And you don't understand the pinnacle of what it is already creating, and realize how spiritual, or walking on the other parts and then just create that way, you understand, for more depth and destruction to come your way.
Right.
You understand? That's serious. And really serious. So you have to really pay attention. So for black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman. Nobody attention. I remember that time general man, I went to teach class. The same people, especially in Trinidad here. You understand? They're making sure in the Caribbean islands too. They're making sure you work from sun up to sundown and you never had the time to really think about power. Power, you understand, is an extinct, is protection. Protection has come with power. You understand? Peace of mind has come with power. You understand? We call it health has come with power. Because you understand, the ability, you have the capability then to make sure that you protect your family, to make sure they understand they're stressing out, to make sure they could develop themselves mentally, you understand, spiritually, you understand, physically, different things, but you don't have no power, you understand, you don't have the mindset to even think about that. You're just going down the path with that death and you just getting licked up easy. Day by day, people who grinding for 40 years, they know what I'm talking about. All your bones aching, you understand, you go in the hospital, you had to go, you can't afford the medication, you understand, you have to wait a long line, there's a study disrespect, you understand, with everybody, the staff of them getting trained well, then the people who in power, which is the East Indians and them, they have no time with you, they're looking out for their own, you understand, and then they're looking to do you damage and stuff like that, because that's the nature. You're expecting, you understand, a pig to behave themselves, you're expecting a snake to behave themselves, a snake will bite you. And that is who the other nations them is. They follow, you have to understand that. And stop looking at them, you know what I mean? Like they could change and you get put them, you know what I mean? They go tell me you pet the snake and then they go behave themselves. No. That ain't happening. Are you know about Where is right now?
No, I think that's when I'm going.
Was no. I wanted down to 23, right? You don't finish verse 21. Go to verse 22, Babusha.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 22. Thus say the Most High, behold, a people cometh from the north country, and a great nation shall be raised up from the sides of the earth.
Right, so the Lord saying a great people come from the north country. A great nation right now, the America field is the greatest nation on the north side of the world. The so-called, you understand, oppressor or the so-called Caucasian race, they reside on the north side of the planet. So the Lord now, knowing the evil mindset of the people that will be ruling over us, and the people who will oppress us, and the people that was at war with us since we born, since we in the womb, to understand that is all going to Genesis 25, Babakasha, verse 23. I think it's verse 23. I think it's that one. All right.
23.
Babakasha. You're looking for the one. Why am I lost? Either 22 or 23. If it be so, why am I thus? Two nations shall be in thy womb. Two manner of people. 22.
The book of Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22. And the children struggled together within her.
Salaki, my bad. Read from verse 20, Babakasha.
20. The book of Genesis chapter 25 and verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padaram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
You understand? So again, this is a sidebar real quick and then come back to the main point, right? The old party the Lord gave is to give you a reality check too. And life is not a bed of roses, you understand? You was barren before. Now I'll give you the ability to make churn, you know what I mean? It coming with a struggle, it coming with a price. It coming with responsibility, so you wouldn't, you understand, drop your guard, you wouldn't drop your sword, you wouldn't deal with it as if, you understand, there's nothing, this ain't a big thing, you know what I mean? I could do this and I could do that, or I could do whatever I want. That's why some people get killed faster, you get gunned down, you know what I mean? Because the repercussions, I could go on home, you understand, then two men fighting each other, and two big bosses, some kind of thing. Two real gunmen shooting people and they don't care who it is they catch up to. You understand? Or you have a man, or you understand, or you have a cousin. You understand? Two boy cousin, and then I just go and talk wild, I go and talk reckless. And they go up in wherever it is, and then it's all kind of beef starting and people dying. And you just moving around the place. You understand? Until you get a gunshot or you kill your mother or somebody who dare to you that they actually care about or so-called think you care about. You know what I mean? So when that time hits, you know, you follow now, you're shaking up. Now it kind of sting your reality sort of setting, or the welfare that you're supposed to have and not create it in the first place. Now sort of setting, right? So let me go back to the main point about it, which is this, right? She now become, you understand, pregnant, and then two manner people, like verse 23. We don't have verse 23, but we shall jump back on this.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb.
So two nations, two races, then the word nations mean races, right? So the Lord said unto her, understand, that two nations in your womb. So you want to know what really going on? It's two different people here. It's not the same people inside your womb, you understand? So read on, Babakisha.
And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And two manner of people will be separated from your bowels. You understand? Two manner of people. So that watching it as little children, innocent and all that. There's people, the Lord gave you a reality check one time. Read on, Babakisha.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And they and the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder shall serve the younger. So the one who come out the womb first, the elder will serve the younger, and then the one people are stronger is the younger one, right? Read on, Babakisha.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
You understand? So back to the main point. The reason why we went to here is because these are the records of the old part. This is what happened when the old part, you understand, was being established. Right? Two manner of people come out. So you understand that one people, you understand, will be stronger, which is us. That is why we're better in everything. So for black, Hispanic, Native Indian man, woman, we don't age like dogs, you understand? We're the prettiest people on the face of the planet, the most glorious people on the face of the planet. And even when we're doing evil, sad to say, we're just doing the best on the face of the planet at a level. Because we're not at the level to control governments and all that. We don't have that ability. So understand some, we're still at the bottom, but we're doing things in them that we're not supposed to do, but in a way, understand that's utilizing our strength, our gifted abilities the wrong way, you understand? So we need to rechannel or refocus, you understand, back to the old pathway, so we can really begin to rebuild again and come back glorious as it was in Solomon time and all that, you understand? But here we have to pay attention a bit more. Have all the time, you know what I mean, to come back and understand the old part, and study the value and faith you say you belong to. Let me put them saluted because your faith is supposed to fix the planet. You know how much billion Christian on the face of the planet, how much billion Muslim on the face of the planet. That's supposed to fix the planet. But all you outnumber everybody. Everybody's supposed to be under all the orders and bring in, you understand, restoration to the world. But instead it's more chaos. And the world getting worse, you understand, under all the faith. That is what I say. That is what Commander GEN.YAHANNA, that is what the Most High Christ, Commander GEN.YAHANNA and all the men under him say. You follow? Under all the leadership, the world in its entirety right now is underperforming vastly. You follow? It's disgusting, it's terrible. You understand? It's a whole, you understand, a whole dump multiplied by a billion or a trillion or whatever. Under all the leadership, under guidance, under all the, you understand, influence, the world itself, you understand, in real turmoil, in real chaos, in absolute holy promise. I want to get to vulgar on the platform. You understand? Well, for you children to say some shit in this, but we talking the absolute truth here today. Let be real, you understand? You can see the effects of all the leadership, you understand? So, going back to the main point of the story now. So, these people are not coming from the north. Read back Genesis chapter 6 and verse 23. It's very important. Actually, from verse 22 and then down to verse 23. So, this person that you're seeing here, if we are coming from the north country, is the red skinned people. So we went and identified them people in Genesis chapter 25. Two manner people, the one that came out red all over like a hairy garment. There's only one race of people, one nation of people on the face of the planet that are red all over and a hairy garment. They can see through the skin, and that's the Caucasian race, and they reside in the north country. You understand? So Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 22. The Lord is identifying them. No matter if they rename America, they rename Europe, whatever the case is. These people will reside in the north country. You understand? That is what the Lord put in and established thousands of years ago, so he could identify who it is he's speaking about. So remember the Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 22 about the
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 22. Thus say the Most High, behold, a people cometh from the north country.
Our people, remember the Lord said, two manner of people. You understand? Two manner races, two manner, you know what I mean? What they call it in the womb, right? So the people that we identify in Genesis 25 is the people that reside in the north country today. Read on Baba Kusha.
And a great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth.
And a great nation, the same people that there, they are a great nation today. So we could say, understand, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the Bible is 1000% accurate in what it is saying. The prophecy of the scriptures, understand, this actually come to pass, and nobody could refute it. Nobody could go against and say this is a lie. Again, the Bible wins, and everybody else with the garbage lost. Read on, Baba Kusha.
Verse 23. They shall lay hold on bow and spear.
They shall lay hold on bow and spear. There's murderers today, you understand? There's the most cunning hunter on the face of the planet, which is his gift. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40 telling you that. You understand? You can read it up on your own time, right? But you just identifying who they're talking about here and who the people are them who don't invent nothing, you understand? But it's the best killers on the face of the, or the best murderers on the face of the planet today, which is the so-called Caucasian race. Read on, Baba Kusha.
They are cruel.
They are cruel in kind. What they say? What the scripture say?
They are cruel.
That is sometimes.
They are cruel.
Now they don't mean to do all these damage to people.
They are cruel.
Scripture saying they are cruel. Read on.
And have no mercy.
Now they have some mercy.
No mercy.
Now it's depending on the situation.
No mercy.
If they life feeling threatened.
No mercy.
They have no mercy. Alright, read on, Baba Kusha.
Their voice roars like the sea.
Their voice roars like the sea. If you don't obey what we're saying, they come and put sanctions on the place. You understand? They'll come and kill out, they'll come and bomb your city. That is how the voice roars like the sea. You understand? They talk as a blasphemy and they come and bring all the garbage on the TV and promote all this alternative lifestyle and this and that the other. You understand? There people that have no mercy. You thinking is a friend and Disney World and how it looks so nice. The Lord saying, you understand, they have no mercy and they roar like the sea. We don't, Baba Kusha?
And they ride upon horses.
Of course, they used to ride upon horses. You know, I mean, today they have fighter jets and they have this and that the other. They have the biggest military, not the biggest military, but the most powerful military on the face of the planet. That's what we're talking about here. We don't, Baba Kusha?
Set in array as men for war against thee.
So they have the biggest military on the face of the, or the best military on the face of the planet. The most feared people, the most fierce people, I should say. People that are cruel, the people that have no mercy, and the voice roar like the sea. They set in array as men of war against thee, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native, Indian man and woman. What ability do you have to defend yourselves, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native, Indian man, woman, and child? Understand that you are totally defenseless, not for the mercy of the Lord. You are totally defenseless against this race of people on the face of the planet. So you don't want your mindset, you understand, to slip or to even become like them, because you know what you're doing. You follow, you're adding to the destruction that is inevitable. If not for the mercy of the Most High. And the mercy of the Most High is us teaching you now to come back to the old pathway, because you cannot stand up against the new pathway. In no way, shape, and form, you will be utterly destroyed. In the blink of an eye, you will be destroyed. You understand? You can look at them today, and the Bible is identifying who these people are. They sit in an array, and they line up in battle against you. That is why they're killing you out. That's why they have abortion clinics in every corner. That's why they have, you understand, churches set up in every corner. And look at the condition that they get to. The doctrine that they teach, you understand, is destruction, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. They follow the ways and living all the different ways, all the different doorways that you don't see. And we don't see, you understand, the Lord give us the ability to Brakatai Hawaii or Shai, you understand, to be able to see and to be able to warn you about, you follow? That is the ways, and it's very slick, it's very slide, it will creep in. And that is the ways that we ourselves, understand, as younger men, purging out of us, so we'll understand exactly what the Lord saying in the old part is. You follow? We've been poisoned with this thing. The whole earth has been poisoned with this. And you ought to understand that you need to come back on the old pathway ASAP, ASAP. This split second, you need to come back to the old pathway. Because the formidable forces against you is not, understand, is not having no type of mercy on you at all. And here we're going to wait the spirit. Jump over to Obadiah Baba Kushan. Let me just make sure the right verse. I think it's verse 12 out of from, but try from verse. Let me see this one. Let me see. Obadiah. Right? I have verse 9. That's the one. Let's make sure. Obadiah. From verse 6, Baba Kushan. Right?
The book of Obadiah, 1 and verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out?
Right. So who's the one that come out of the womb? Right here, like a garment?
How are the things of Esau searched out?
His name is Esau. That is his biblical name. So the scriptures now go in and tell you, here are the things of Esau. That same person, you understand, that in that world, you understand, will hate that two manner of people in your womb, and the one people shall be stronger, and the next people will hate them. If one go arrow and have war since in the womb, and now they set in battle and array against you, and they have the best military on the face of the earth. They have no mercy. You understand? They ain't about nothing other than destruction, because that is what is today, right? Here are the scriptures they're telling you now. So the same things that hidden and in plain sight, or you think Disney World is the best place on the planet, and the white culture is the best place, is the best thing that ever, you understand, touch since sliced bread and all that. Here the Lord saying, here are the things of Esau, the ways of Esau searched out. We don't Bible.
All the men of thy
so like you read on from verse 6.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
How has hidden things sought up? That's what you need to understand, because this new pathways of them is how he will destroy you. Because remember, the scriptures now say that he set in battle against it. In a sense of how is hidden things sought up, his hidden things is the democracy, his hidden things in a sense is the Planned Parenthood, his hidden things in a sense Christianity, his hidden things is New Age science, his hidden things is they call it women's liberation, women's rights, all these different things, and then just go against, you understand, the system that the Lord put in. You follow this, what do you call it? It's not as patriarchal, but it's a better word for saying it. I'm trying to look for the Lord about aristocracy. In a sense, there's certain grace and things that the Lord set up and ways for it to move. Don't get tired if you have to go to war, it'll be very clean, it won't be messy. But at the same time, it comes to very, very serious. When the Lord really set up something, he wanted to know that I am coming to meet you as a man, as he does say in the scriptures. I will come and destroy you, and I'll let you know exactly how I'm going to destroy you too. Right? So, we're going back to their certain things and how they searched up. Read on back to verse 7.
Okay, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
You understand? So you see the same war between Russia and this one, and then they're always fighting against each other with that all the men in confederacy, all of that band together before there was in the United Nations then. And they just sit on the same seat. Before that there was confederacy, there was when the South and the North, you understand, before there was the war. You understand, right? And Europe and all that, and they was together before Brexit. All the men of that confederacy, understand, they are brought it to the border. So all of them will cross share it here. They will bring it to the border. This is the end of the line. This is hard enough for your nonsense on this side. This side gonna say hard enough for your nonsense on that side. And that's just again, this is a deceit. If all also they what the Lord saying is not because this one less evil than the next one, mean that the evil, because this is who they is. This is the culture the people are, right? So all the men that confederate together and all of them that used to sanction and had their things done together, used to oppress other nations, all of them going to sit down and fight against each other. That's what they are right now. Right? They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's none understanding. You don't understand, you follow that. The way call it that. We call it? We call it again. What's the thing? Division. Division of this one. How divided cannot stand, right? So they don't understand that. So that's what the Lord saying is not understanding them. We don't Baba Kishar verse 8.
Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
So shall I not in that day, when I come back and to reveal the things and that search out in Edom, shall I not destroy the wise men out of that day, or when I come to bring destruction? Right? We don't Baba Kishar.
And understanding out of the mount of Edom.
And understanding out of the government of Edom, shall I not in that day destroy them? So like they are on Edom, from Esau here. Right? So understanding from them that they're supposed to be, you understand, they call it the governments and they running the place right and all of that, as they so-called have it. But not the Lord ain't go not only reveal it, but destroy it, because I want to let people understand that this is never to be done again. So when I come in, this is the last time that they'll be able to do this. Right now, and also be at the last hour. You understand? You don't know when that will be. If it's the next 1,000 years, nobody guesses. And it's based upon the Lord and how quick men decide to come back to the old pattern. Right? Or how quick they decide to come back into really put in the mind to understand exactly what needs to be done. Or go and ask for the old party, because you ain't gonna learn it like that. You gotta ask for it. You understand? So you gotta come into the doors and ask the manager Gen.YAHANNA and his men of them under them, right? Exactly what the old pathway is and prove it. You understand? There's not nothing. You're always doing the thing half-pick in your life. You never commit to nothing, you understand, in your life at all. So-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian America, you've been raised that way, right? Because again, they're ensuring also that you grew up in a society where you just do things hurry. Because you're hurrying to go and eat a bird, you know what I mean, to live for the next day. You're hurrying to go on, you know what I mean, to get something to come out of a real terrible situation in. Right? They always have your stress. Right? So under stress now, you'll always make bad decisions. Right? That is how the oppressor is set up his society. If all also understand some now that the only way out is to come back to the old pathway. So you gotta make the time and ask the Lord to give you grace, you know what I mean? And then you gotta sincerely give up the things and then that. This the person make available to you, all the weed, you understand, all the cocaine, all the crack and all that. And it could be done, it will be very hard. Just like with Rebecca that get blessed with a child or two children. The come she woman, she was barren. She still had a journey, she still had a fight to face, and every one of us that decide, understand, to come and live for the Most High, you have a fight to face. So you have to fight against the new ways or the new age, you understand, set up by destruction, or the broad ways and the destruction as the scripture say. So the narrow pathway is the one that leads to life. But everything else, you understand, is the pathway to destruction. So here what all you have to do, as you were saying in Jeremiah, what you have to do now is you have to at least stand anyway. Stand up and check it. If you want to go ahead and continue to be destroyed, no problem. But at least for them that want to think how they have to come out of this, stand in the way and then evaluate that life, the road that you believe in. You understand? Evaluate it and see what has come out of that. The next way, you understand, you have to look at it and see what has come out of this. Then you look at what the Bible actually says. Then ask for the men, you understand? The men, the Lord will make it plain. He will let you know, you understand, whoever through this video or whatever, some UPK, some I.S.U.P.K video, you understand, you'll know. Some way of shape or form, you'll bounce up somebody who the Lord will send. It could be somebody from some other fake camp and all, and they'll direct here. But they wouldn't have the answer. If they sincerely care about somebody, or whatever the case is, or they get shamed to do it, whatever the Lord wants to do, it doesn't matter. It will happen. Right? And then you will learn back what the old path is, right? So with the hands and foot of the Lord today on the face of the planet. Right? So that's plenty of work to do. At the same time, we have a whole lot of understanding to come back to what the old path is, right? Verse 9, Baba Bishop.
Verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Taman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the monk of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Right, so thy mighty men, so all the settlement from all the military confederacy, all the governments of them, Timan. Timan is a big city in the Edomite kingdom, right? They shall be dismayed. They want to know what the hell going on, how this happened, how this innocent, how we get make out, so how we the kingdom get dismantled out. And they wasn't thinking about all the ways they were sowing before because the pride blinded them. They thought because they had the place structured so well in corruption and destruction, they think that that could never happen to them. They could never, understand, be exposed and be destroyed for all the things that they do. Right? So the Lord does not want you in this new age mindset. He don't want you, understand, with some other new way or some other pathway. He wants you with the old pathway because that is safety and my life is. Alright? And you're going with them to anybody that have that mindset. To the end of all this is that every one of the monks of the government of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. You don't want no Donald Trumps, sad to say, but good to say for we, you understand? For all it's bad, right? No Joe Bidens, you don't want none of them. No leaders of the people in them, you cut off all of them by slaughter for sure. If you cut off all the people in the face of the planet, you understand? Sure that every one of the monks of Esau, with the government of Esau, will be cut off by slaughter. Right? Verse 9, verse 10, Baba Gisha, right?
Verse 10.
And here's why you do it too, eh? Not just so, because as far as remember the certain battle against you, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Indian man. Jacob and Esau, the one that come out of the now we're reading about Jacob and what Esau did to Jacob as opposed to serving him, what he was supposed to do. We don't know about
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
We did again, Baba Bishop.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
You see, many people believe God is a just God. So-called Edomite people or so-called Caucasian people are supposed to accept this, no? They violence against the people and them, right? If somebody's doing violence against their children, they understand that completely one time. right? But the violence that they did us now, all of a sudden they don't understand. And you're begging for mercy. Why are you begging for? Is this way you do? We don't bow shop.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
Shame shall cover them, right? They'll definitely be ashamed. We don't bow shop.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
Thou shalt be cut off forever. So it look like, you understand? If I understand if I remember the breakdown properly, I think all of them gonna get cut off. But remember, let the general breakdown that, right? But we know for sure, them governments and them they'll get cut off. They'll no longer have, you understand, a Senate and a what you call it, and a Republican and a democracy ever again in life after Christ return, right? We don't Babakisha?
Okay. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem.
Because right there, because when they cast lots are also what they do is they sell a gift for wine. A little child, that's like they do, that's like the Chinese government and them doing, well, not the Chinese government, but the Chinese general that come across from the eastern side of the world, out of 1 billion people, and you guys said, Arang, that's what you do. You come and you cast lots for children and you selling them, in a sense, as prostitutes. The same thing the so-called oppressor do, and that is what they follow. The same ways that the oppressor, the man who leading the world today, you understand, the man who in charge of the world today, the same way they operate, they decided to side with him on that level. They have more people on them, and that's what they decide to do. Right? Just like you know today, that this is the mindset of the people that rule over us. Every other race that rule over us, that is what they decide to do. Join with them to do this. They cast lots upon us. That is all right. That is what them does do. Right? And sell a boy for wine and all that. Sell a girl for wine and a boy for some small money. You know what I mean? They prostitute little boys too. We don't know about
and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even though was as one of them.
Even though was as one of them, because remember we know, you understand, he come up as Jacob, you know what I mean? According to the history and all that, he was leaving. When he was leaving, you know what I mean, Egypt self, right? Egypt self, you know what I mean, the Amalekites and them, they started cut off the younger and the old age. The people that was sickly and aged and being as you went behind them and cut them and started kill them off. That kind of mindset they are destructive as usual, and that is why it's gone us down the street today. And all them different, you know what I mean, Planned Parenthood and all them different things for you to kill one another. All these drugs they pass through the black community. Everywhere you touch it, that black people. We on the side of the road and all that lie down like that. So that, you know what I mean, and you might overdose one day. Yeah, you only pass it to that. Where?
So I'm 70
Correct. You know what I mean? 70 as the officer began with a heavy point. You surround the people that we start to eat each other, start to eat the baby, start to eat like that, all kind of different things. That is the mindset of them. They want to starve you out. You ain't coming and say, well, all right, bam. Let me go and take all the captive and be with all a certain way. No, it's always the extreme of them. Extreme hatred for the same brother that now come out of your womb. So that why we touching on brother today for you to understand that you're not supposed to be in that mindset at all. Because that same, if Jacob and Israel come out, the Lord said they can be separated as from the womb, but here's what I don't want to do. From the jump, I'll let you know that this struggle that here, this is what's going to come out of it. This is the mindset of why does he separate and why Jacob and Esau ain't brothers. Right? Jacob is a different manner of people, and this people here's their mannerism. Their mannerism is death, well, it's murder, you understand, is rape, is lynching, is systematic oppression, is drug dealing, you understand? It's all kind of evil under the face of the sun, is adultery, you understand? Every destructive mechanism, everywhere that leading to death, that is their mantra, that is their mindset. I don't want you to be in that mindset, right? Verse 12, Babakisha. Then Shahul verse 1 John chapter 4, verse 20 to 21, Babakisha.
Verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou rejoice over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
You understand? That is not what brothers do. They follow that is the mind of the oppressor. They don't want to be in that state of mind. I would not try to help you understand. They're already that way. I didn't make them crooked. They follow God. This is all of that. This is what they do. When he became a stranger, so when I put you to the test, then let me see you do. Right? You do something in the day that he became a stranger, you're laughing at him, you're looking at him, and you're pointing down your finger over the aces, right? You didn't, you know what I mean? You didn't move in no way, shape, or form in any slight little bit to become better, understand, and show yourself to be better. That way, right? You just should have rejoiced here. Rejoice also over the children of Judah in the day of destruction. When it's been destroyed, you decided, like, I'm going to rejoice over them. Bam, bam. But they're going to rejoice over their destruction, right? Since that's what they want to sow, well, exactly what the Lord going to do, so and double it up, triple it up, however you want to put it up, right? You just have spoken proudly also, like, if, you know what I mean? Like, all right, the real good for them, boom, boom. And really and truly, you know your assistant is too. They know it, especially today, they know the hand that they play. And they stand, look, don't understand point and say, look at black people and then watch how they operate. They understand they can't keep their pants on their waist and this and that, the other. When you create the systems of oppression, you taking away all the ability to thrive. You don't teach nothing with financial literacy. You don't teach nothing, you understand, with family, good family structure. You don't teach nothing with literacy properly. All the school systems and I understand is garbage, absolute rubbish. And you're making sure that with the schools that your children go to, you understand, you're giving them a fighting chance. And you're giving us as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians not a fighting chance at all. And on top of that, you're talking against them now. But that, you understand, that is the mindset. You don't want to be so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian man, woman. Here's the sad point. And why we had to teach about this today, because we in that mindset as a people. We operating so, you understand, weak. We call it foolish, and we call it and wicked, and a whole. We have to come out of our mindset. Have a whole lot we have to come out of. All right? The Lord don't want this in you. That's why He's talking about this now. That's why we have to talk and show a whole difference in it. Right? First John chapter 4 and verse 20.
First John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love the Most High, and he that his brother, he is a liar.
In the sense, the Lord, you know, Esau is a liar, don't be like Esau. Don't say in your heart, I love God, and understand you hate your brother. You do anything that show that they hate your brother. You understand, you is a liar. That's just what it is. You know, Baba Kishan?
For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High, whom he hath not seen?
You understand? So the man that has seen the brother and hating the brother cannot love God, who he hath not seen. He had to deal right with that man that he has seen first. To prove, you understand, that he loved, first thing first, that he loved himself. You understand? He loved his brother, and then he could possibly think that he could love the Most High. He had to make sure that in him. When that in him, well, there, he proved then, you understand, that he really know how to love. When you know first what love is, then he know how to love his brother. Right? Verse 21, Baba Kisha.
Verse 21. And this is the commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the Most High love his brother also.
Right? And this is the commandment that we have from him, that he who loveth the Most High love his brother also. Right? From there, give me just one. Let's see which one. Give me Matthew chapter 25 and verse 40, Baba Kisha.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, in so much as you have done it unto one of the least of my brethren, you have done it unto me.
You understand? So this that you do to the least of my brothers, whoever it is, the man lying on the side of the road or whoever society deem, you understand that this man is a man, the lowest end, right? That is what you do to Christ. And we have to really understand that as a so-called black Hispanic Native Indian people. We're so seasoned in all the wickedness and all the wrongdoing under the suppressor. You understand? We have to learn to understand exactly what the Lord talking about here. You know what I mean? So you do it to the least of them, my brethren, you know what I mean? You do that to Christ. That's what it is. Yes, my Lord, you know, right? So you have to understand exactly what this is, right? On all levels. If you do good, you understand, to the least of the brethren, you do it under Christ. You do the worst, you understand? To the least of the brethren, you do it under Christ. You watching that the same way, you understand? You do me that. You do he that, you do me. In other words, Christ taking it personal. The Most High taking it personal. You just don't want me, you understand? To the apple of my eye, that is why the so-called white man go and get destroyed by slaughter. He go and shame him. He says, shame shall cover you. And there's the mindset they don't want to. But here what we end this mindset as our so-called black people today. And that's what we need to get rid of. It's a shameful thing. All right, and we have to get rid of that as a people. Otherwise, the sun's slaughter coming your way for sure. The Lord done laying, you know, this is how you're coming. It's exactly how coming. All right. Give me Luke chapter 6 and verse 31, Bible share. Then what John chapter 15, verse 12 to 14, Bible share.
The book of Luke chapter 6 and verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
Right, so that is one of the ways and the show, you understand, that you have brotherhood. To know, not even to show, but to know your brotherhood. So if you know your brotherhood, that is exactly what you will do. So you have to learn how to treat each other, you understand, to know how to be treated. Or you because you don't even understand what that is today. So for Black, Hispanic, Native, Indian man and woman, you don't even understand the old pathway. So you need to understand the old pathway, understand the law, understand the spirit of the law to really understand exactly how to treat one another. Right? And then from there, you understand, then obviously you understand that would be in you. It's you start to develop and shape and fight to become that person. You got a real fight. You got a real fight to shake off all this embedded in you. You understand? All this indoctrination. That's who we become as a people. You understand? Shake off that, right? Give me the John chapter 15, verse 12. And then who hold First John chapter 5 and verse 3, and we call that, you know what I mean? That will be in the class, right?
John chapter 15 and verse 12.
Yeah.
This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Right. Good.
What?
Yeah, Sir.
Verse 15. Greater love that had no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend.
No, it's very easy. We'll say it again. My name is saying this too much. It's very easy, and I've been taught this as well. That's why I like to remind myself as well. Because this is the reality here. We're going to talk real talking, right? It's very easy, you understand, for a warrior, or I ain't gonna say a warrior, for a brother, a man, you understand, to lay down his life to say to take a bullet. It's very easy according to the kind of man is. You understand, to lay down yourself to take a bullet for a brother. It's very hard to live for it. And I think so for Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, we need to learn what to do. We have to learn that and really learn that properly. Right? And that's take time. You don't rewire your brain, you understand? So what we need to do inside of the Israelite school and universal practical knowledge, you know what I mean, is groom you all back to the old. That's the mission. That's the commandment from the Most High, right? To learn to love each other. You understand? This is my commandment, that you love one another as I've loved you. Old part of each other. So you have to come back to the old part to understand exactly what that is, to be able to do it, to become that person. Right? So there's no other way, but at least the Lord saying stand in the ways. If you understand, you care about life and you care about family and you care about the ways how things going today, you follow and you want your worship can change, at least stand in the way and evaluate it and see. If this way that I'm walking on here, understand, is the path to life or the path to death. All right, you gotta take your time and do that. All right. Read on, Babukisha.
Verse 14. You are my friend if you do whatever I command you.
You understand? He's the Most High friend, yes, Christ's friend, if you do whatever the Lord commands. If that is not the case, you know he's the enemy, and you know he just do to enemies. He's going to destroy your enemies. Right, as he said to Esau, you understand, use my enemy, and I'm going to cut you off, I'm going to slaughter you, I'm going to make you shame, and I'm going to cut you off by sword. And that is not coming, you understand, to everybody that is the enemy of the Most High power. That is just what it is. Alright? Well, of course, Israelites and other people, they'll come back, but they still will remain in us. Give me First John chapter 5 and verse 3, Babukisha. Oh, warrior. Babukisha.
The book of First John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God.
Right, so if you ever wonder, you know, what the love of God is, or somebody tell you something else, hear what the Lord saying love of God is. Read on, Babukisha.
That we keep his commandments.
That we keep his commandments.
And his commandments are not grievous.
And his commandments are grievous. And that's when the spirit of what it is are telling you to do it in grievous. That's why you have to look for the old pathways, because you don't understand the commandments of God. If that was the case, you just read Exodus chapter 20, and then you read on this, and thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that, thou shalt not do that, and then the whole world fix. Right, but that's not the case. You have to understand the old pathways and the spirit behind exactly what the Lord is saying. Right? That is not a wanted wonder. That's why the Bible is so big. And it's not just Exodus chapter 20. All right? And Leviticus 23 and Deuteronomy 16. You know what I mean? It's not that. All right? So so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian man, woman, and child have a pathway to work, which is the old pathway. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of work to do as a people, and the mission is starting by working. However, time in the week, on some cases, look at you and decide, okay, and when the time you look at it one time, you should see.
We are the I.S.U.P.K. They are here to be schooled. They don't get that particular person. He or she must get permission from the head to speak to another brother or sister. There is another 6 months where the brother or sister will report each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will number 18 21 Malachi chapter 3 to 10. Means that from Aisha, repentance of everyone for priest, non-mandatory. Whatever amount you like to give up, common holy convocation. That will be the memorial blowing of trumpets. That will be the full day of the 7th of September 2022. We can the first of 23 to 20. Reminder that what you have to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events. I said, Madam, with them. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa. Yeah, Sha, Ratida, Kawa, Ya, Shemayam, Matan, the Walk, Come, Kal, Yawam, Wasalak Noah, Walking Noah, Wasalak Noah, Walking Noah, Tabi Noah, Ball, Shai Noah, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Aka, Alakwa, Ala, Zafarat, Kalamium, Aman.
In English, what we said was our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
We're going to the Hakat. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Bakasha, Noah, Akat, Akra, Makala, Amadawan, Akat, Atah, Mujarium, Akat, Akayam, Matayam, Akat, Akawat, Temala, Agarishin, Ba'ashem, Ba'ashai, Ba'adaman.
In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, please give us the power. The power to heal, all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, cast them out. In the name of Yahweh, thank you. So be it.
You can see the blessings in Hebrew. Barak, Atah, Yahweh, Shayala, Makayam, Matizabia, I.S.U.P.K, Alawapium, Asaranium, Aquatazalium, I.S.U.P.K, Atabialium, Wapium, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Awashai,
Bless Yahweh, and Yahweh, and Michael, and the angels, Commandant General Yohanan, the general, the captain, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, thank you, so be it. This is the I.S.U.P.K curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, listen to us now, right now, set evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, like prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school, set evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the church of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the schools, force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary, and evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, and the nation, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Posse Gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the airways, cable access channels, and the radio channel, convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring to destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro to the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucer and punish all the heathen and come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread to the media, to the whole world. Cause it to shake as they coming. In the name of Yahweh, thank you always. So be it.
I'm going to say the bless Israel. Yahweh, I.S.U.P.K, Noah, Shala, I.S.U.P.K, Barak, Gun.
Commander General, Captains, officers, sisters, children, brothers and sisters, final committee, Napash, Indian family, Muslim family, Commander General, Captains, officers, students, sisters, the community.
Commander General, Captain, officers, troopers, sisters, children, all the destroyed of Israel, the Naiman.
Commander General, Captains, the officers, troopers, the students, sisters, children, all the short of Israel, all the sick and nursing of Israel, all our families. Captain Galawan, Officer Sawap, Officer Barriat, right? Crystal, Kiara, Celine, Julian, Francis.
Brothers and sisters in I.S.U.P.K, brothers and sisters, fight community truth, join and meet in I.S.U.P.K, Transfer family, Lion, Wesleyan, Daniela, Basham, Yahushai, Wadaman.
Right? We said in English was Lord, in the name of Yahushua, bless us, and Israel, and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect, our loved ones, in the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it.
Sir, let's get a teacher one quickly salute. Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak, Yahweh Shabbat, Yadamata, Sir. Let's get sisters online. I won't quickly salute. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Shabbat. Bashem Yoshai. Yanamata. Class is missed.